Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. Your boy here once again. You know who I am, JJ, here at JJ's PC Builds. We're going to have a little discussion, not a discussion, but we're going to have a little end cap. I have before we dive into it, I'm going to do the B roll, of course, but it seems like AMD has some lowering prices. We're going to take a dive into the 6600 XT from AMD and see what's going on. So do stick around. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch your dial. We got more for you right here on JJ's PC Builds. And welcome back. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all once again. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to dive in and have a looky look on the RX 6600 XT. And we're going to pull up the specs and we're going to see what it looks like. I know a lot of people have been talking about it. Is it better for price to performance? From what I'm seeing, yes it is. Let's go ahead and switch the screen. Here we go once again. The 6600 XT, is it worth the price? Let's see. It's Navi 23. It's got 2048 cores. It's got 128 TMUs, 64 ROPS. It's 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and it's GDDR6, and it's 128-bit bus. Now, this is the way the card looks. If you're ever purchased, the card, you want to make sure when you see it, it looks the same. You don't want to get a card that states it's that, but it's not. So depends on if it's an AIB partner card or whatever it is, But it depends on what you want. Okay, the Radeon RX 6600 XT is a performance segment graphics card by AMD, launched on July 30th, 2021. Now, with it being launched on 2021, this is 2022, it's over a year old. 1 year old. Now, keep that in mind because we'll get into the pricing soon enough, but just follow along with me through this whole video. So, it does accept DirectX 12, that's a good thing, and it has 11,060 million transistors. Okay, that's not bad because if you're looking at some cards, some of the newer cards, they only got like 16,000 and so on, but this is like a runner-up card, and from what I've been hearing, that this card performs very well when it comes to playing some good gaming. It has one 8-pin power connector, which is good. That's the reason why I'm kind of spotlighting on this card, because it only draws about 160 watts. So if it'll fit in your system. If you're running, let's say you're running a Ryzen processor and you run this card here, if you're running the Ryzen 5, let's say 5600X, and you run this card here, you can't beat you. I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, as far as gaming, it'll probably give you awesome gaming, but I'm thinking this is the kind of card, because of the price, this would be, you know, a good card to get. At the time that the at the time they were thinking that the price was like $379. That's MSRP back a year ago, and it does have PCI Express 4.0 X8, so that's not a bad thing neither. And it's 190 millimeters by 110 millimeters by 40 millimeters. It'll definitely fit into your system with no problem. Um, let's see, the frequency is 1968 megahertz, which can be boosted up to 2589 megahertz, which that's not bad neither. That's reaching almost 3 gigahertz. That's reaching almost 3 gigahertz, getting close to it. But the memory is running at 2000 megahertz, 16 gigabits per second effective. Basically, if you get it up to 2000 megahertz, you're getting a good flow. You're getting good flow from coming in from your processor to the graphics card, going back and forth. The switching is really working. Now, me, I would think that, if you're running a processor with at least 6 cores and 12 threads, that's going to be enough for this card. It's going to make the card flow beautifully from what I'm seeing. Even with the 5600G I got here, I'm hoping a card like this will flow in just nice with this kind of card, because this has only got, they say it only has L3 cache at 16 megabytes, but I'm reading on different sites it says it goes up to 19 megabytes of L3 cache. So, you kind of got to think outside of the box a little bit. So it's got almost close to 20 megabytes L3 cache on the 5600G. But also too, with the 5600G, I have an iGPU, and if I plug a discrete graphics card with this iGPU, if the discrete graphics card ever goes, I have something to back up on. So that's a good thing for my part, and it could be something good for you too. I've always looked at it this way: always have a backup plan just in case something fails. Okay, discrete graphics cards don't last forever, but iGPUs, believe it or not, they last forever. If they're taken care of properly and the CPU's taken care of properly, they last forever. Just to let you know, so you never go without gaming in 2022. So, moving on down the road, let's see what else we got. The shader model 6.7, Vulkan's 1.3, OpenCL 2.1, OpenGL 4.6, and it has L3 cache of 32 megs, L2 cache of 2 megs, and we have L1 cache of 128 kilobyte KBs per array. That's per array. Now, it depends on how many arrays it has that, you get a good balance. And 32 kilobytes per WGP, that's not too bad. RT cores 32, compute units at 32. Now, that's something to really think about. If it's 32 and the newest cards are about between 60 and 90, that's still not too bad. You still got a lot of headroom with this card, especially with it having 8 gigabytes of VRAM. It's not the GDDR6X, but it is GDDR6. Now, the only thing that concerns me a little bit about this card is the 128-bit bus. But that shouldn't, because usually your basic cards start off at 64-bit bus, and you're only you're only using an extra 64. It's a 64 plus 64, so you're double your rate basically from this card. Instead of having like getting a 1 gigabyte of Vcache video card, you're getting 8 gigabytes with double the bit speed. Back then, years ago, the way they used to have it was everything was running off of 32 and then 64-bit bus, and then it went up to the 128-bit bus, then the 256, then the 312, then 392, and so on. Okay, but with it having a 128-bit bus, that shouldn't be too bad, and it shouldn't be too demanding on your processor. So if it had a higher bit bus, I think it would be more demanding on your processor, you know. But I think, you know, it's supply and demand. Basically, your computer's supplying the through output for the graphics card. So if the graphics card can manage, then it'll work well. See, the way I'm looking at it is this. Now, this graphics card will work really well with my system because I have the B450 motherboard. And, you know, with the Ryzen 5 5600G, it's kind of sounds like a little bit of a mix match, but I think it would run well with everything. You know, if I ran 32 gigabytes of dedicated RAM for the computer, and if I ran it on 3600 MT, or if I ran it on 4000 MT, this motherboard will go up to 4400 MT. So that gives me a lot of headroom to boost it up to meet the demand with the graphics card. Just to let you know that. So if it runs good with 3600 MT, that's what I'm hoping for. That sweet spot right in there. But from what it looks like, this is not a bad card. I mean, its pixel rate is 165.7 G pixel. Its texture rate is 331.4 G textiles. And the FP16 half performance is 21.21 T flops. 2 to 1. That's not bad, 2 to 1. So, and the FP32 float performance is 10.60 T flops. Now, and the FP64 double performance is 662.8 G flops, 1 to 16. That's not bad. I mean, 16 to 1, that's not bad. Just keep that in mind. And the card is active, so you can get upgraded drivers for this card. Let's see, it says right here, production active. This is what you want to pay attention to. If it's, you know, if it's active or not. If it's not active, they're not giving new driver updates, new software updates for the video card. And if that happens and you get a video card that's DirectX 11 and doesn't get DirectX 12, it could limit your chances of, you know, trying out new games and stuff like that. But since this card here is DirectX 12 active, then you'll have a great chance of, you know, getting some AAA gaming. And, you know, I mean, I have a feeling this card is really a good deal. Is really a good deal for the amount of cores it has. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at Amazon for the price. So we'll just take that little journey, and we'll take and see. We'll see if the price to performance is there. So the RX 6600 XT. Oh my goodness. Look at this. They got the 6600, not the XT, for $239. They got the 249. They got the 65 for 169. The 6500 XT. You know, they got the 6600 for 242. Let's see. They got 6500 XT for 64-bit for 174, which I don't think. They got 273. They got let's see, the Sapphires for 349. They got the 6650 XT for 339. 383. But here's the deal. Here is the deal. Right here. Here is your deal. Does RDNA 2, but I bet you when RDNA 3 comes out in 2023, that it will adapt to this card. 9 out of 10 chances. It's an XFX, and it's 8 gigabytes, and it's 2044 megahertz, and this says you only need 550 watts, 2491. You know, it doesn't look like it's a bad card. And that's $239. $239. $239. And let's see what else they got. They got a Gigabyte Eagle for $249. And let's see, this one here is $239. Okay. They got all these cards. They got the 6500 for $169. They got 273. So basically, you got a lot of good ratings on this. They got the Eagle for $10 more, and instead of the 2 fan, it's got 3 fans. You know, 14, 16, 18. You know, when you shop, look at for what you're shopping with. Okay? Look for what you're shopping for. Okay? Me, on the other hand, I always look at all possible ends. Okay, we'll go to eBay now. We'll go to eBay and we'll see what eBay has to offer. You know, always look everywhere. Always look everywhere. See, they got it for $179. It's a non-XT. $249 right there. I mean, it's an XT version for $249. $279. $250. $175, but that's part of bidding. When you go on, usually when it comes to Amazon or eBay, I always click on buy it now. Okay, this way, you know, you don't have to get into a bidding war with somebody, and you don't have to waste your time It could take the 3 to 4 days before, the bidding closes and everything else. It's not really worth your time to go through all that headache. For me, it's not worth going through all that headache. And that's just the way I feel. This 220, 224. The non-XT 172. They got one right here, the Power Color AMD Radeon RX. They got it for $200 with $20 shipping. Okay, so 220. So 220, you get the Power Color Fighter for $220. Okay, you got this one here, the Hellhound graphics for $232. Okay, you got the Eagle, for $235. I mean, in all, from what I'm seeing, it's in the $200 range. That's the whole idea, is to get something within your price range, and this is within your price range. Now, as far as performance, price to performance, yes, you'll get price to performance. Definitely. But just got to watch what you buy. You got to know, if you got to look at it very carefully when you go to buy this. I mean, they got a Red Devil for $225. I mean, there's so many different cards to choose from that you can take and just pick out of the bucket, and see which one you really want, which colors, and everything else, and always look for the performance. Now, all these different cards doesn't matter, because when it comes to this right here, this is your baseline right here. This is what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, this is what you use for your baseline, and when you go and look for your cards, always look very carefully and see what you can get for price to performance. AIB cards always change something in the bias to make it either faster or slower or whatever the case is. You just have to look very carefully and see which one you want. I mean, you just got to look carefully. Some come with 1 fan, some come with 2 fans, some come with 3 fans, and so on. But I'm not going to make this a long video. I'm just giving you an idea of what's going on with the RX 6600 XT from AMD. Now, AMD is lowering their prices. Now, NVIDIA's prices are going up and AMD is coming down. But anyway, I'm going to end off with my final thoughts, and then we're going to go from that. My final thoughts is this, and hear me out very carefully when I give you my final thoughts. Okay? My final thoughts is this. If you're going to buy a graphics card, and if you want to spend less than $300, the 6600 XT or the 6650, if you can get it, is going to be around in that price range. But as far as performance wise, the 6600 XT is going to do what you need it to do. It's going to be able to play AAA gaming. It's going to be able to play all the games that you would want to play. It has enough cores, it has enough transistors, and it has everything that's needed. So if you enjoy the AMD RX 6600 XT, then that's the card for you. Maybe that's something that you're looking for and you've been looking for, but you didn't know which one to buy, but you're sitting there waiting for the last minute to see what's going to happen next. Now, if you don't want to wait and you want to stay within price to performance, then the 6600 XT will give you the price to performance. Depends on how you set up your computer. It depends on how you set up your monitor. all depends on how you set the functionality of your computer and monitor to make that video card work for you. Now, if you put it at medium to low settings and you do 1080p, you're going to get a high FPS. If you set it to high settings and you use in 1440p, you might be able to get some more performance out of it. As far as 4K, this card I wouldn't recommend for 4K. 1440p or 1080p, I would recommend it. 720p, never know. Me, I kind of like keeping it down, not at 1440, but I like to keep mine down to like 720p. When I game, reason is because it gives me more frame rate, and it's not, it's not sucking the life out of the video card, to say. But anyway, that's my final thought. You can either take it or leave it. But like and subscribe. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. That way you get all the latest videos and you see what I got coming up next. We're trying to get up to 4,000 hours of watch time, and we're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. And this way, YouTube will see that we're building, and they will start posting my videos out more instead of less. So until I reach to that point, my videos only go so far. So make sure you share with a friend, tell them to come on over to the channel, and become part of the JJPC Build family. And I want to thank all the subscribers that have subscribed to the channel, and welcome all the new ones that have subscribed. And we do welcome you to the family once again. But until the next time in the next video, this is JJ, your boy, and we'll see you on the next one.